I'm lucky enough to have a beautiful sunny garden, in the morning anyway, and it's a really nice place to do some yoga first thing. And I'm just going to practice sun salutation but with some extra moves. Some of the moves are tricky and you'll need to practice if you want to build up to them, or you may be able to do them straight away. So get yourselves ready, get your mat, get a bit of space, have a drink of water, and let's give it a try. So stand at the top of your mat and just roll the shoulders back a few times. Tune into your breath. Set the shoulders back and down. Raise the arms up and down. Breathing in as you raise the arms, breathing out as you lower. Try and keep your body still. And as you raise the arms, lift the heels. Just coming up onto the balls of your feet there. One more time. Keep your knees soft when you land. Now, bending the knees into a squat. Taking the body weight into your heels. So sit down behind you. Keep your tummy muscles in. So now we're going to hold the squat. Take a pelvic scoop and roll up through the spine, setting the shoulders back and down. So viewing from the side, you see that wave pass up the spine. So you squat, scoop the pelvis, curl up the spine, roll the shoulders back and down. Just a few more. Try and do it smoothly, just waking up the vertebra. Now hands to thighs, a flat back, and then into a forward fold. Letting the top of your head drop towards the floor. Hands to the floor and step back with your left leg. And just enjoy that stretch in your left hip. Turning the head side to side. Just loosening up the neck. And then hands flat on the floor, tummy in as you step back with the other leg into plank. So keep your bottom flat if you can. Lifting alternate legs just a little bit off the floor is an option. Keeping your body as still as possible. Keep your shoulders strong, or just hold the plank. Coming down onto your knees and into child pose. Sitting down on your heels if you can reach. Just stretching through the shoulders and through the back. Moving one arm around towards your feet and then the other arm. And then we come onto our knees into upward facing dog. You can either keep your knees on the floor or lift them off the floor if you can manage to do that. Keep your shoulders strong. Adjusting the hands, turning the fingers slightly towards each other, widening the hands as you just bend the elbows and roll down onto your tummy. And then when you get onto your front, move your hands and push up into cobra, turning your head very gently side to side. Try not to shrug your shoulders. Roll back down. Adjust your hands again, coming up onto your knees, tucking your toes under and pushing up into downward facing dog, bottom in the air, shoulders away from your ears. And you can pedal the legs through as you can see here. I'm just showing you from a different angle. Now bringing your right leg just behind your right hand. So take your time to do this. You can either bring it straight up like that, or you can take it round the side. Just take your time and adjust your hands if you need to. Turn your left foot out to face the side of the mat, away from your right foot, and just move your body weight backwards and forwards, moving your hands as necessary. Just stretching into your legs, the back of your legs, and then using your tummy muscles, very important, to help you come up to standing. And however you do that is up to you. But once you're there, you want the back leg straight. You want your hips to face the front, but your upper body to turn to the side, to turn to the left. Shoulders back and down. Your back leg is straight, your front leg is bent, and you lean towards your front leg. And let your upper body lean as well. So away from your back leg, feeling that stretch up the side of your body. Keep your tummy in, enjoy it, breathe, relax your shoulders. You can rest your arm on your front thigh, take the other arm up to the ceiling. You choose. If you can't take your arm right up to the ceiling, it can be out to the side a little bit. If you want to go further down, if you feel that you can, great, do that. You can take your hand either in front of the leg or behind, or just keep it up on your leg. Then we send the rotation round the other way, which is quite difficult to do. So you can stay facing that way if you want to, or you can rotate the upper body as gently as possible to face the other way and feel the stretch up the side of your leg and into your bottom. So you don't have to do that, just stick with what works for you. Now facing the mat, bring that back leg up into the air, tummy muscles in, shoulders relaxed. And we're going to try and lift the hands off, or maybe one hand off. You'll have to work up to this one. It took me ages to get this. And then just lift both hands off and try and stay in that balance. The back of the head in line with the spine. Both legs straight if possible. Tummy muscles in. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Hands back to the floor. Knee into chest. Both feet at the top of the mat. Tummy in. And slowly come up through the vertebra. Stretching up to the top. Gently. And then bring the hands to your chest. Take a breather. So that was your first round. Feels really complicated, I know. But you'll know what you're doing this time. We're going to lead with the other leg. So taking the arms up to the top. And then hands on your thighs into a flat back. Keep the back of the head in line with the spine. And then a forward fold. So top of the head faces the floor. Stretching the back of your legs. Hands to the floor, and we're going to step back with the right leg, wriggle it back if you need to, and stretch into that right hip and the back of your left leg, just backwards and forwards, not too much weight in the hands. Just play around with it, and then bring yourself into this position, enjoying that stretch in your hip. Shoulders back, neck relaxed, turn the head side to side. Breathe. Take your time. Hands flat on the floor, tummy in, and slowly as you can, gently step back with the other leg into a plank. So you can wriggle it back or you can take it out wide a bit, whatever works for you. Strong shoulders, don't sink into them. Keep your bottom flat, tummy in, breathe. So we're going to salute with one hand and then the other, trying to keep the body as still as possible, or just hold the plank if you don't fancy this. Or you can just lift the heel of your hand instead of a full salute. Put the knees down, sit back in child pose. This time, keep your bottom off your heels and press your chest and forehead gently towards the floor for a bigger stretch in the shoulders. Breathe. Coming up onto all fours, keeping the knees down, upward facing dog. And if you feel you can, you lift the knees. Don't shrug the shoulders. Turn the head gently. Breathe. You can come up onto your knuckles if your wrists are hurting. Keeps the wrists straight. Then we're going to roll down through the body. But try not to shrug those shoulders. So you might need to move your hands, turn the fingers slightly towards each other. Elbows out wide, or if you can keep the hands shoulder width and bend the elbows towards your body, keeping the bottom flat and the body straight, that's chaturanga, that's very difficult. Try and lower yourself without flopping to the floor. But again, just take your time, choose your level. Pushing up into cobra, just extending the spine, turning the head if you want to. Try not to shrug the shoulders. Keep them away from your ears, in other words. Roll back down, tuck the toes under. Pushing up, tummy muscles in, onto all fours, onto your knees. Or push up with your knees lifted. Either way, bottom in the air, downward facing dog. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Pedal the legs through, like we did before. Now bring your left leg behind your left hand. Take the weight off your wrists. You can either come around the side like I just showed you or bring the legs straight up. And then just take your body weight forwards and backwards. Gradually bringing your hands off, or you can keep your hands on the floor, but just stretching. Turn the back leg, the right leg, out to face the right side of the mat. So rotate that back leg. And then using your tummy muscles to help you and your hands to help you come up to standing. So the different ways of doing this, you'll get better at it as you practice it more. Bend your front leg. Keep the hips facing the front as best you can. And then rotate the upper body to face the right. Back leg straight. Arms shoulder height. Okay, so this is warrior. Bring that back arm over, lean towards your front leg. You can rest your front arm on that thigh for a bit of support. Keep your tummy in. Breathe. Feel the stretch down the side of your body. Both arms up by your ears is harder. Don't forget to breathe. So you can either look up to that top arm and reach your bottom arm down towards your foot, or you can take the hand behind the foot. It's harder. We're going to switch the rotation of the upper body. So there are different ways to do this. You might not be able to rotate very far, or you might be able to rotate fully and glance up at that hand. So again, feel that lovely stretch through your outer thigh and your bottom. You don't have to rotate that far. You can be supported on your thigh rather than taking your hands to the floor. Lots of ways to do it. Hands to the floor, lift the back leg. That's actually your right leg. And see if you can take at least one hand off, but it might take ages to work up to this balance. Took me ages. So lifting that back leg, keeping it straight, arms up by your ears. Front leg straight or slightly bent, tummy in, breathe. Bring the hands back to the floor, bring the back leg in, feet together, prayer position hands rolling up into a lovely long stretch up here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then into the prayer position. And just take your time. Keep your eyes closed if you want. Have a bit of a rest. Taking the hands behind, linking the fingers, palms face upwards, and just stretching the chest by squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then keeping the tummy in, leaning forwards, going further and further, bringing the arms overhead. If that feels okay, keep your knees soft. Just go as far as you can. If it's nowhere near that far, completely fine. Coming back up and going into a squat. Toes and knees pointing forward, raising the arms up by your ears if you can. Tummy in. Taking your left hand to the outer right thigh and placing the right hand palm up on the small of the back, then rotating the chest to the right and reaching that right arm up into the air. Coming back to centre, tummy muscles in, and standing upright, rolling the shoulders back. So we go the other way now. Into your squat, arms by the ears as long as you don't shrug. Bring the right hand to the outside of the left thigh, left hand palm up on the small of the back. That's to keep the pelvis steady. Rotating the upper body, glancing up at that left hand. And then, in your own time, bring it back to centre and stand up. Always trying to use the tummy muscles. Coming to the top of the mat. Into your squat again, but this time taking yourself all the way to the floor and legs overhead. Now some of you might be shocked at that, so just use your hands to bring you down to the floor and roll back as far as you want to. Can you roll up to sitting, keeping the feet off and the knees bent? Keep the feet on the floor if you prefer. Just adapt this to how it works for you. You can always build up to this later on. Knees wide, soles of the feet together, stretching the inner thighs, rounding the spine. Bringing the knees together, feet off if you can, rolling back and over. But of course, you don't have to do that. You can use your hands to help you. Using the core muscles to come up to sitting and rounding over into that stretch, knees wide. Back into your balance, rolling back. But again, use the hands to support you if that's what you need to do. push with the hands to help you get your feet over more, if that works for you. And coming up, and again for a third time, into that nice rounded stretch. Now then, check this out. Using the stomach muscles, crossing the legs, right leg in front on this occasion, coming up to standing and stretching. Now, stay there if you're up already, or try it without using your hands. Use the core. Oh, it's hard. When you get to standing, carefully folding over into your stretch, and then taking the right arm up and behind, and then the left. Just play around with it. This is what you're building up to, remember, not going for that straight away if that's too difficult. And then trying to control the sit back down. Again, you can use your hands, crossing your legs the other way. So just taking my time, I'm gearing myself up, can you tell? Using the core. It does put a bit of strain on the outside of the feet, so you might need to make sure you've got a soft surface. Rotating the upper body smoothly, keeping the tummy in, keeping my balance and focus. Knees are soft. Coming up, using the tummy muscles, and then control. But you can use your hands to support you as you come back down. It's hard. Takes time. Now this one is really tricky, and just come up to standing in your own way if this is way beyond your ability. So difficult. Anyway, I'm up, widening the legs. The knees and toes turn outwards. I am coming into a flat back. I'm using my hands to my thighs to support me, and then into a forward fold. But, just go where you want to go. Rotating the upper body again, glancing up at that right arm, and then smoothly going across to the other side, feeling the stretch in the back of my legs and my inner thighs, using my core to come up. Now, knees and toes are still turned out at an angle, and I believe this is a goddess squat. So I'm bending the knees. I imagine I'm sliding my back and my bum down a wall. So I try and remain vertical. I don't stick out my bottom, as I demonstrated there. So nice and vertical, tummy in. And as I squat, the knees go out at an angle, the arms go up high. Breathe into it. So you could exhale as you squat and inhale as you come up, holding the squat a little longer and zigzagging the toes and heels back in. That was a hard section, wasn't it? Okay. So coming into a flat back fold, taking the hands to the floor, and walking the feet back into a plank. Rotating to the left, the whole body. My legs are scissored, so as I rotated, my legs crossed. And bringing that left arm up and over as I lift the hips towards the ceiling. Now I'm rotating the upper body, the chest to the floor, and threading that arm through. And then the bottom leg, the one that's behind in the scissor position, I'm drawing that up in front 3 times. And now the hardest one of all, the top leg. You can see I'm finding that hard. I'm kind of snatching at it, trying to keep my body as still as possible and my right shoulder nice and strong. Okay, rotating back and taking a rest in child pose. Moving the upper body around to the left to stretch the right side of my body, which has been doing some work when I was holding that side plank. Okay, let's do the other side. So carefully, coming back up into plank, strong shoulders, scissoring the legs as I rotate to the right. And just bringing the arm up by my ear as I lift the hips, keeping both feet on the floor in the scissored leg position. I then rotate the upper body, bringing that right arm through and under 3 times. The arm comes up by my ear, and it's my back leg, the underneath leg, that comes in front, and I touch the knee 3 times, and then I swap legs. This is the hardest one. Trying to keep my body as still as possible. Still as I possibly can. Breathing through the move 3 times. And then rotating back into the plank, knees down, untucked toes, child pose. and bringing the upper body round to stretch the side of my body that was working in that side plank. Coming back to the middle. Breathe. Into a cat stretch, a rounded spine, and then coming up onto my knees, tummy muscles in, and bringing my weaker leg in front, the one that feels least likely to want to go in front, using my hands to help me up, or putting my weaker leg in front to try to stand up, and trying to use my core with either arms raised or lower arms is easier. So balancing, holding the knee towards the chest, rotating the foot in each direction. Right leg. Then going back to the left leg again, bringing it behind, holding onto it, pressing that left knee down towards the floor so you're stretching through the quads. Standing tall. Breathe. Let's do the same with the right leg. Tummy muscles engaged, shoulders relaxed, pushing that right knee down towards the floor to lengthen through the quads. Control. Breathe. Shake the legs out. Okay, bringing my left arm across and pressing it towards my chest with my right hand to stretch through the shoulder. Taking that left arm up, bending it, hand down my back. Get the fingers to touch if you possibly can. Stretching through the tricep. Switching sides. Right arm out and across. Press. Breathe. Up, bend and reach. Stretching into the tricep. Keep the shoulders relaxed. The neck relaxed. Couple of shoulder rolls. Rolling the head very carefully in an arc shape to each side. And you're done. Congrats. I really enjoyed that. If you did too, please let me know in the comments below. Like the video, and please do, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Have a great day, everybody.